Hi guys, welcome back to IST's Intro to Deep Learning series. We have been introduced to CNNs and we know that they use an image classification, but today we'll see how a CNN actually does this image classification better than a multi-layer perceptron. So to start off, all CNNs have the following high-level structure. There's an input layer, there's a feature extraction layer, or there could be multiple feature extraction layers, and there's a classification layer. So image CNNs are used in image classification. So naturally, the input to a CNN are images. Images can be either grayscale or black and white or RGB or more commonly color images. Images are stored as 3D arrays of matrices. These arrays of matrices have dimension, length, breadth, and the channels. So as I said, image is a matrix. This matrix has integer values, which are known as pixel values. These values range from 0 to 55. Every image has a channel dimension, which is the third dimension. So for a grayscale image, there's only one channel. The pixel is either on or off. And for the RGB image, there are three channels. So red, green, and blue. The color which you see in an image is the linear combination of the pixel values from these three channels. So here's an example of a 4 by 4 by 3 image. There are total 48 pixel values. So like if we had say a 256 by 256 by 3 image, the total number of values we would have for pixels would be 196,608. If we were to feed this to a multi-layer perceptron, it would be just too many values. So, like for us, what a CNN does is just finds out a relationship between the features of on an image and these pixel values, and then tries to classify the image based on the learned features. The input which we put in, if we enter into a CNN, is a 4D matrix actually. This 4D matrix, the extra dimension is the number of images. This actually helps in vectorization and more efficient. Next off, we are done with the input layer. We then go into the feature extraction layer. This is the layer which finds out patterns from the image based on the pixel values, learns from these patterns, and then does the classification. These the features which I extract could be like edges, complex shapes, colors, etc. The what the CNN does is it just finds out the relationship between the features and the pixel values, and then does the classification. The feature extraction is done through the layer known as convolution layer. First of convolution. Convolution are basically operations which convert one function to another. You would have seen convolution in say your image editor. Say you want to sharpen an image or a blur an image. That is a convolution operation. Mathematically, convolution operation is just an element-wise matrix multiplication between an image and a filter. The filter is called a feature map. We'll see what filters are in just a bit. The output which you get from this element-wise matrix multiplication is known as a convoluted image, which has enhanced features. So the convolution operation you can see here, we have an image matrix and a filter matrix. The filter matrix just goes through an image, multiplies with the pixel values and the weights of the filter, and gives an output with which is output, which is the convoluted feature. We'll see an example of this in just a bit. Here's another example of a convolution operation. As you can see, the filter is multiplied with the pixel values one by one, and the output we get is in the output image or the convoluted image. This operation happens through all the pixel values of the image. The filter goes through all the values, and this fills up the output matrix. So we saw the filter had some values or some weights. The filter moved through the image throughout the image in steps. In the previous two slides, the steps were one. The output which you got were either of the same size or the lower size. What the filter actually does is it enhances out some feature it wants, and it ignores the less important features. So filters, for example, this is a vertical filter. This would enhance out the vertical if there's a vertical line. This is a horizontal feature. What would enhance out the horizontal lines. So here's an example image. So you can see there's a vertical line. This image is multiplied by this filter, And the convoluted image which we get, the vertical line is the pixels where there's a vertical line, those pixels are lit up, whereas where there's no vertical line, those pixels are turned off. So here's a real life image. As you can see, we used a vertical image filter, and the output which we got, the vertical lines are enhanced out in the convoluted image. There could be multiple type of filters. We just saw a vertical filter and a horizontal filter. There could be filters which extract out curves, etc. So these multiple features are that for single image we could use n number of filters and we could extract out n number of features. So during training, the CNN learns the weight of the features, so we don't have to supply these features, these filter values to the CNN. The CNN uh, does this on its own. In the initial layers, the CNN extracts the high level features like lines, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal lines. As we go deep into the CNN, it is able to find out more complex shapes. So, if we see in this example, these vertical filter which are just present in the initial layers of the CNN. In the deeper layers, the CNN would be able to notice the shape of the nose of the horse. It would be able to notice shape of the eyes of the horse, and the shape of the ears. This would help a CNN to say differentiate this image of a horse from the image of a cat. We previously observed that the convolution operation reduced the dimension of the input image. The output image had a lower dimension than the input image. So this is actually undesirable. So if we had multiple convolution for a single image, the dimensions of the image would be too small to be able to be used by further layers. We want to avoid this to avoid the loss of information. Hence, we use the concept of padding to tackle this. This concept of padding will be explored in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.